trying to counteract there.
Quebec is deliberately delaying on pulling the ball out of the ruck right now in this possession. It's definitely a game plan because earlier they're releasing that ball 3 to 4 seconds. They're releasing that ball out of the rucks. Try scored.
Try scored by Rugby de Québec. They were patient there, moving the ball, trying to draw some of those players in, and they eventually found that hole around the breakdown. I'm sure the Toronto Saracens are feeling quite frustrated right now. They know they can put up a better fight, and really where it needs to start, where most of these teams need to start when it comes to at this level, is just tightening up your defense. You got to get that defense, because that creates turnovers, and they need as many advantages as they can. They haven't had a lot of possession with the ball, so if they're going to get that extra edge, it's going to be creating turnovers in defense and capitalizing when they have the ball. And that kick is good, which takes our score to 28-0. We still have about over 15 minutes left in this half, and Rugby de Québec has come out with a dominant performance in this first half, but I've seen many games like this turn around, so Toronto Saracens need to keep their heads up. They are the home team. They're looking to perform well in front of their friends, family, and fans, and hopefully they can pull this together.
Well, their captain, Fidelia, is probably speaking to the team in terms of telling them to remain calm and just stick to their game plan. They have had so much experience at this level in terms of championship games. So they're definitely not out of the game, and they're definitely excited to put some points on the board.
Strong footwork into contact. Forwards are set up for that ball. Great ball off the tip. Swap ball. Quick ball out. Difficulty getting that ball around the tackle.
Like I said before, Quebec's doing a good job in releasing that ball from the ruck. They're doing it within 3 seconds. A lot of coaches right now are coaching onto that in terms of how fast can we get the ball out to increase the numbers of phases that we have in the gameplay, but also to cause some disruption in the defense. Once this pace is fast, the defense is really going to struggle to connect and organize themselves, and Quebec's doing a really good job with that.
You can tell Tamara's a teacher. She's apparently counting while we're commentating. 3 seconds. What is that? Let's come down.
It's something a lot of coaches are coaching towards now, the time and looking towards getting that ball out quick. Oh,
that'll be Rugby de Québec's ball. Saracens want to use their strong pack to really steady that strong and drive Rugby de Québec back. And unfortunately, that's not happening. We talked about the importance of set piece. Again, I'm biased because I am a prop, but it can definitely help a team in a situation like this. These are the advantages that Toronto Saracens want to have against a team like Rugby de Québec.
Next week, the Saracens will be in their semifinal game for the Ontario Women's League, so lots of games coming up.
Nice ball.
Good pace.
To number 1, Laurie Hull. Laurie is been playing rugby for 9 years. She's a financial advisor, and she used to do competitive figure skating. This is not the first I've heard of props who used to figure skate.
Interesting.
Strong, powerful legs, so
absolutely
it does correlate well.
Once again, the multiple
Good
sports,
hands
good hands
for
there.
Number 4, Vicky Boutin. But he's calling a forward pass.
Good pressure with the Toronto Saracens.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to the coaches last night, and he was. This is their club is actually an amalgamation of 2 clubs in Quebec, and he was saying that one of the things that stood out to him about their club is they have a great balance between a high performance sort of environment and energy with a balance of great social atmosphere. So a little bit of fun, work hard, play hard sort of atmosphere, which is great. unstable there. Referees are always looking for that scrum to be set and stable. They don't want the ball to be put in when people are moving around. So it's the responsibility of the packs to sort of get that coordinated amongst the 8 of their team.
Once again, a lot of these rules are implemented for safety. And at this high level, the refs are definitely going to be keen on these items. Petra Woods looks like she's ready to receive that ball. She's in a position to receive it here with her hands out. Let's see what happens and who gets the ball.
Yeah, hands towards the ball. That's important. But Natalie Tam struggled there at the base of the scrum. Will be scrum again. And again, this is where I really do think Toronto Saracens could try and take the upper hand on Rugby de Québec. Not to say that Rugby de Québec aren't supposed to have a strong scrum, but I know the strength of Toronto Saracens is definitely in their pack. A little bit of pressure there. Good hands from number 10.
Good
and
pace.
Finds great break there through the middle. She holds on to the ball. And a quick pickup from her teammate. And as we are to expect from this team, they're going to look to move quickly, whether it's individually or moving it out to the first receiver.
Good tackle made a while ago by Irene Petrinos, the Saracens 15s.
Strong run by Fabiola, but just an unfortunate connection between her and her teammate. That will be a knock on. Oh, it's their ball, sorry. And they're going to go for the line out. Their lineouts have been consistent here. The Rugby de Québec lineouts have been consistent. So like it was for Charlottetown, it's a good decision. A lot can happen here, and especially 5 meters in. Generally, teams defensively within the 5 meter are not going to want to compete. So there you
called it.
There you have it. Well, when I say not compete, I was hoping maybe they would a little more defense, but. And it looks like Rugby de Québec is in again. A little easier than I think Toronto Saracens had wanted. I mean, when you're on defense for this long, fatigue is definitely going to set in. Everyone knows playing defense is a lot harder than attacking. And Rugby de Québec has definitely been on attack for the majority of this game.
Absolutely. That moving maul to score that try was a good option for them.
Yes. While we have this little break, I'm just going to let you know the head referee for this game is Mo Chaudry. The assistant referees are Brianne Freeman, and the other assistant referee is Lauren Walkden. Referees are so important to our game, and we're seeing not just in rugby, in a lot of sports, that there is definitely a shortage of referees. We would encourage clubs and obviously sports organizations to really focus in on that part of the game and try and put a focus on developing refereeing in their clubs and organizations. We were actually talking earlier about players who retire giving back to the sport, and you said there's the variety of ways. And actually, just recently, I hung out with Latoya Blackwood, retired national team player who is getting very involved in refereeing, and she's doing a great job out in British Columbia, as well as referees, retired players like Julianne Zussman, who I think refereed at the Super Series recently. So refereeing is a great option for people who want another way to stay in the sport.
Latoya Blackwood has been playing for many years. I used to play with her when she was a teen for Brampton Rugby Club.
She did mention that. She did mention that.
Yeah, that's where she started one of her club careers. Before that, she was playing on a men's team. She was one of the best tacklers I know and still is. And so she was able to find her place with some men in their league until she found a space in Brampton and then shifting to her other teams.
That does not surprise me. Big hitter in Blackwood. And Rugby Quebec is off to the races again. Running hard on the outside. Beautiful pass out to their fast winger. And a nice offload. Quick. The support is just coming one after the other. There's just so much support on this Rugby de Quebec team. So many options for the ball carrier. And you can hear in the stands people saying, quick, quick. I don't know if that's for the Toronto Saracens or for Rugby de Quebec.
Toronto Saracens are now moving into 2-player tackles now, which is affecting their defensive line, creating some holes. Notice how Rugby Quebec is floating the ball right behind, right in front of the player and right behind the player that's about to tackle them, and allowing that player to run on, with pace onto the ball. That's definitely giving them the opportunity to gain some ground.
Yeah, they're attacking that space beside the tackle, and they're looking for that offload behind with knowing that support runner is coming in. It's hard to cover that. And they've scored another try, it looks like, in the far left corner. This is a hard first half for Toronto Saracens. You can see some of that hands on the knees, and hopefully they can turn it around. They might need that halftime talk to sort of get them readjusted for the second half. There's about, well, they still have about 6 minutes or so here, so they got to focus on that before they can maybe have a talk with their coaches and leaders. The score is 40-0 for Rugby de Quebec. First game of the tournament was between Capilano RC and Charlottetown PEI, and that was actually first half was quite close. I think we was about 10-0 in the first half. The final score was around 39-14, so definitely Capilano pulled away, but I know Tamara and I were very impressed, not knowing a lot about Charlottetown, with the quality of play on offense and their competitiveness in the scrum and some great lineouts as well. So kudos to Charlottetown, who will be in the bronze medal final on Sunday.
Very exciting opportunity. Like we said before, when we're in our prospective clubs, and still in our prospective clubs, this didn't exist, this opportunity here. So once again, a shout out to all the sponsors and all those involved in creating this opportunity, because now these women will be able to at least compete in the bronze medal game, which is also an amazing opportunity for women's rugby.
And this is how Tamara cues me. We're grateful to the following sponsors: Canadian Rugby Foundation, Langara Fishing Lodge, Toronto Arrows, Pemberton Homes, Sportside Medical Services, Gilbert Rugby Canada, Aldehard, Aptowella Women's Rugby Apparel, Toronto Inner City Rugby Foundation, Fletchers Fields, Rugby Ontario, and Rugby Canada. And it looks like Rugby de Quebec has the ball. And they're going to look to get some territory on the field.
Not necessarily the kick they're looking for, but nevertheless, it's still their possession. Carly Robertson is moving towards the line-out. One of her fun facts is she's able to have a one-person line-out, according to her coach. Also has some experience with the under-19 and the under-23 and the Senior Women's Ontario program.
One person line out. I don't know. I like to see that. I'm thinking she must throw it to herself over the 5-meter line.
I assume she probably just lifts on her own.
And we have a scrum here. Not complete dominance by any one team here in the scrum. But the opportunity is still there.
Definitely looking forward to seeing certain players here get their legs running. Some of them here have some significant amounts of experience when it comes to the provincial and national level. We've seen a few players get some good runs in. Here's Petra here. As I speak of that, she's a bit caught up, but she does have some quick legs.
Good job by Petra Wood. Oh, and they took it back the other way. Smart decision by Nat Tam, and a good run.
This is that run was Fidelia Omajin.
Yes, their
captain.
Yeah.
Yes, player, teacher, coach. So at different levels.
Those teachers, I tell ya, what a profession. We have her, I was mentioning before about one of their flankers, Fabiola Fortiza, who's getting ready to scrum down. She's been playing rugby for 9 years. She's actually a kinesiologist, currently pursuing a master's in nutrition, so very healthy player. And her father played rugby too, and she obviously the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because she's a talented back row player.
Also look out for number 3 for the Toronto Saracens, Kelly McGuinness, also another international player, has some international experience, coming from Ireland.
There's been a pretty consistent performance from everybody on the Rugby de Québec team, and but one of the other players we to look for is Marie Thibault, and I trying to find her name here. Sorry, folks. They have left her off this, but she is definitely somebody else to look for. She's in the centers, and she's been a key part of getting that ball moving in the back line. Some pressure here from Toronto Saracens, but Rugby de Québec finds a hole. They move the ball quickly, great offload, and we talked about that offload from behind the tackle. Definitely when you're doing an offload like that, you have to good upper body strength and making sure you have control of your opposition in the tackle.
It's a foot race here with the ball in Tam's hand. Natalie Tam, very shifty.
She likes a foot race, and she's getting some sideways there, but she wasn't able to turn it up the field. But they set up a platform. They're moving it forward with their forwards.
Good straight arm there from Carly Robinson.
Nice strong run on the side of the ruck. And again, this may be the style of game that Toronto Saracens needs to play against them, sort of keep moving forward, using their size, using their strength, and then move it out wide. They have possession of the ball. This is their captain. Nice run there.
Petra Woods caught up. Toronto Saracens, they have many forms of gameplay here, but one of their major items here is attacking on the fringes. So if you don't have your guards and have your posts, that's dangerous.
Another forward coming around.
There we go. Tamisha Toussaint with the ball possession. Very aggressive in that. But we have Quebec here, who's even a little bit more aggressive here with the counter ruck.
Great counter ruck by Quebec. And that is half. A dominant performance by the club from Quebec, Club de Rugby de Québec. Toronto Saracens, the home team, unfortunately struggling in this first half, but they have an opportunity now in this halftime to regroup, talk, figure out what they need to work on to have a better second half. The score going into second half is 40-0. We're going to take a little time, a little break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hi, I'm with Anne Hoang with the Capilano team. Your position?
I'm actually the head coach of Capilano.
Okay, so you're the head coach of Capilano. Can you tell us about your gameplay? What was your mindset with the team and going into the first half?
I think the mindset for us was just to stay composed, disciplined, and really just kind of stick to what our game plan is. Charlottetown PEI is not a team that we're very familiar with, so it's a little bit hard to prep in terms of style. But the mindset for us was, to be able to dominate set piece, to be able to impose what our game plan is, and just to go in with calm, collected minds.
We noticed that the first bit of the game was a very close score in terms of 10-0. What were your thoughts in terms of when you were able to spread those points?
I think, definitely in the first 5 to 10 minutes, some of it's due to nerves. A lot of our players are playing out in territory that they haven't played in either before, or it's been a long time since they've been here. So we're adjusting to different conditions. We're adjusting to different temperatures. And I think part of that is just shaking off some of the nerves. And I think kind of once that first water break was around 20 minutes in, we're able to kind of recollect ourselves, get back on that same platform, and really work together as a solid unit rather than individualistic players. I think that's when we started to see some success.
Yes, we noticed that you have a very young team. A lot of the women are in their 20s, just finishing university or currently in university. And then you added some experience with Miss Burke there. So Andrea Burke, tell us about that when you decided to implement her onto the field.
So Capilano's got a rich history, so we do have a mixture of younger players. We've got a handful of veteran players as well. And Andrea's been a long time Capilano, so it really made sense for us to see if she was available to kind of participate in this inaugural event with us.
We also noticed that when you implemented your new players, some of your game-changing players from the sidelines, the game changed as well. Was there a certain type of game plan that you had in mind, or was it that burst of energy, confidence, encouragement that those ladies brought on the field?
I think for us, like all of our subs bring something very special to the field. Definitely that change in tempo, that change in pace helps to bring everyone up and helps to kind of get everyone back on that same page.
Amazing. So just a quick few points on what's your attitude towards going into the finals. Big game coming up on Sunday.
I think as long as everyone is excited and they come out ready to go, because I know just watching the games right now, both the teams are fired up. So hopefully we will be too.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us and good luck.
Great. Thank you so
All
much.
Right. Take care.
And that was a great little interview with Anne Huang, coach of the Capilano RC, who are now in the gold medal final. Also to be noted is that Anne Huang is the only female coach at this tournament, which is something to be recognized with this definitely an increase in females coaching females and just female coaches in general, which is exciting to see, especially players that we have both played with over the years. So again, giving back to the sport, which is exciting. So we are about to start the second half of the second game of the tournament. It is the score is 40-0. Toronto Saracens are about to kick off into the hands of Rugby de Québec, who had a very dominant first half. Things to note: pace, great passing skills, excellent running lines, speed on the outside, which we are seeing right now. Good defense by Toronto Saracens.
Good tackle there by Natalie Tam.
Strong run.
Another good tackle there by Fidelia on Maging.
We're going to see the ball moved. That decoy runner makes life difficult for the defense. But they're pushing Rugby to get back. Good offload by Fabiola Fortiza. Secure ball there at the breakdown. They're going to look to move that quickly. Good line speed by Toronto Saracens. They came up quickly, shutting down and through the middle. And again, They're trying to be a nuisance there. And that's probably something they talked about at halftime, about coming up faster from the defensive line. Line speed is so important, especially against a team like that. Put a little bit more pressure. Don't make their life so easy. Create a little bit of a pressure, especially since their skills are so strong. And we have an injury here just by the half line.
It's Carly Robertson down right now. Once again, like I said, she's had some experience on the provincial level, played many years with Trent University. We haven't had any major injuries thus far.
No, we do not want any major injuries.
And that's a good thing. It's nice clean games happening. And that also, you know, keeps the game flowing.
A lot of these girls, I'm sure, are training outside of their practices. They're in the gym. They're doing their fitness. So the fitter these girls are, the less likely there'll be injuries. But this player is still down. And hopefully she'll slowly get up. She may just need a little bit of time.
Andy Ireland, the coach for the Toronto Saracens, has been coaching them for many years. He's from the UK, also does some work with the Ontario and Canada Rugby League team as well. His training sessions in the preseason are very vigorous. A lot of sprinting, a lot of steps, a lot of running before they even get to touch the ball. So a lot of these girls are coming into the season fit. But right now it's the end of the season, so you do have some nicks and some injuries that a lot of these ladies are taking care of. But nevertheless, they're here to have a great game.
We're still waiting here. While we're waiting, I'll just speak to some of these details of the teams that are here. Due to the unavailability of various players, the Prairie contenders were unable to commit and to attend this competition. So luckily, Charlottetown and Club de Rugby de Québec were granted finals 2 spots, and so that's been excellent. Obviously, strong performances by these clubs. And then out west, Capilano knocked off the reigning BC championships after an unbeaten season, which were the West Shore Valkyries, and they won that final with 1 point. So, again, some top clubs here, and we're off to the races again on the field.
Subbing in for Carly, we have Megan Tangluling. She's had some experience with the Upright Rogues rugby program.
Yeah, there are a lot of out in Ontario. I noticed you have your turf, you have your upright row. There's a lot of these organizations that are sort of helping scaffold the development of these young players, which is awesome. Great line out by number 2 from Quebec, Kathleen Keller. And good fall on the ball there from Laurie Huel.
We also have coming in for Toronto Saracens, number 23, Haley Karoom.
Rugby de Quebec likes to get it out wide, move the ball quickly. They have some pace out on the wing. And you'll notice they're trying to move the ball while Toronto Saracens are moving back. So they're obviously most effective when that's happening. Great break. Awesome offload. And she gets it again. Now that's work right there. Take a run, offload, come around, and pick up the ball again. Unfortunately, there may have been some holding on to the ball there, but good work rate from Rugby de Québec. And that is number 2, Kathleen Keller, who is working hard there in the break on the field in loose play. This is Toronto Saracens ball.
Big kick there from Alva Dowling. Once again, finished her education, University of Dublin.
And I think when we're talking about the level of competition at out west, we call it the Premier League. Over here, it's the OWL. But these top women's teams, sometimes having those international players come in with their experience and maybe some different styles of play is actually brings some variety, and it's nice to have on a team. So it's nice to see some of these international players getting able to play abroad.
Absolutely. From just coming off the field just not long ago, this year she played with the Six Nations squad with Ireland. Ireland just recently lost to the UK in the tournament to qualify for the Olympics.
And that was a great phase of play from Rugby de Québec, and they scored in the far left corner. That was an effortless, smooth phase of plays there, and passage of ball through hands. Excellent job.
As a coach and captain, what do you think the Saracens captain is saying to her team right now?
I can't speak to what I think the Saracens captain might be saying, but I know in this situation, just looking at the sort of strengths of their opposition, I would be looking to the strengths of the team that I was playing in. For Toronto Saracens, I think when they organize and try almost like, not speed up, slow down the game, but get organized. So set up their forwards in positions where they're most effective, working in pods, pushing this team back. Because I think physically they could be more dominant, and they should work to sort of tie up this fast team a little bit more to get those benefits on the outside. And right now, they're just not tying up this team. They're fit, they're fast, and you're only going to shut them down when you get them busy doing something else. So I think Toronto Saracens needs to sort of regroup and try and work a little bit more effectively as a team.
Not sure if you're familiar with the Quebec team, but do you think they've watched some video footage of the Toronto Saracens, or this is kind of their gameplay?
It's possible. I mean, coming into this tournament, I'm sure now these days people are taping their games. They may have been able to get that. But having known a lot of Quebec players who've come out west and having seen Quebec, the provincial team, play, this is what I expect from teams coming out of Quebec. This is the style of play that I'm used to seeing. So in that regard, they are just playing their game, and they're playing it effectively. It's sort of like, we're going to play our game till it's not working anymore. And generally, the style of game they play works, and it's effective.
Absolutely.
Toronto Saracens are lining up on defense. The score is 45-0 here in the second half with about 30 minutes to go. Great line.
Nice tackle there by Petra Woods.
So this is where Toronto Saracens is strong, and their other forwards now need to get set up.
That's Megan Pakulis who had the ball there, taking it in nice and strong. Megan also has some experience with the under-20 Canada team, also with the Ravens team, and some experience with the Ontario Blues.
Great work by Toronto Saracens. And this is what we were referring to about what their strengths are. Organizing their forwards, trying to get them to move Rugby de Québec back, and then when the time comes, move the ball out.
And we have Fidelio taking that ball nice and strong, but the ball was stolen. Missed kick there. But ball still in the possession of Quebec.
Stolen by Toronto Saracens now. Good offload. Move the ball away from the mess. And their captain is being very aggressive in contact, which is awesome.
That was Chelsea Brothwaite taking that into contact. She also has some experience with the Canada Ravens Select. Ball change possession now in the hands of Quebec.
It's getting a little messy here. We just need someone to set it up. Yeah, there's too many hands on that ball. You can see there. The referee is giving that ball to Rugby de Québec. A little bit of back and forth here on the field. We're going to be here on the by the stands with a line out. we're setting up here. It looks like just currently looks like Rugby de Quebec has so many players out there and ready to go. Quick line out. That was a beautiful, beautiful line out. Nice. And a quick movement of the ball from the back of the scrum, back of the breakdown.
Besides that little miss pass there, Quebec's doing a really good job of getting the ball out from the line out. As you can see, position-wise, they're pretty much, you're looking at very close to the sidelines with about few passes from the line out. That's really what you want. You want to get it away from the line out and use that open field as quick as possible.
Great tackle. Good pressure.
We got a speedster here. She has history with Humber College and has several championship rings.
Rings. They get rings. Good hands.
Good call there from Tamisha. Just unlucky drop there.
Good idea. Good idea. Great angle in. It would have been an effective line if her hands had been a bit on the ball.
Absolutely. And Saracens are known for that aggressive attack, fast-paced, hard runners right at the breakdown, right at the fringes. If the ball was in her hand, definitely would have been a dangerous attack.
So we were talking about how Rugby de Quebec is playing, and I think the key that we need to focus on is the execution of their skills. If you look at their passes, really sharp, really flat, and that skill execution is what we've come to know about the development that's happening in Quebec.
And very trusting, very trusting.
Yeah. When you've, I guess also just being familiar with your players, like when you've played with people and you're playing the same systems, there is sort of like an effortlessness to the way you play and how you connect on the field.
When it comes to the national championships, when we're looking at the universities in this area with Ontario and then even with the Quebec area, a lot of teams are starting to rise with some great skills and really doing well in CIs.
And we have to give credit to sort of the impact Rugby Sevens has had on a lot of that skill development, and it's definitely sort of filtered down to all levels of rugby and all types of rugby, especially 15s. Those girls are coming back into the 15s program. They're definitely bringing that skill from all players on the field, from props to wings, in regards to passing and kicking and all that. Nice line.
Yeah, big tackle there from Chelsea Brothwaite on the Saracens team.
And they look to go blind.
Big tackle there from Tamisha Toussaint.
Some players got in the way there, but they keep the ball alive. And that looks like number 3, a Mode. Just fighting hard to keep that ball alive. Unfortunately, that will be Toronto Saracens scrum.
Part of that started with a nice tackle from Stephanie Hovdestad. You spoke about the Sevens. Just going to add in there, Andrew Ireland has been taking his team to several international tournaments in the off-season. Tobago, Barbados. Those types of tournaments really keep your team in shape because you're training to head to those tournaments, and then you're training after those tournaments for your prospective club season. So Andy really believes in playing rugby all year round. Not very easy to do here in Ontario, but when you travel, you're able to do so.
Yes, that's and I know at West Shore we've always talked about the fact that we really haven't gone on any tours. We haven't gone on a lot of tours, and that's something that clubs can definitely start thinking about, going on tours. And not only is it a great way to compete it for quality of competition, but it's also a great way to sort of connect as a club, especially in the preseason.
Absolutely. I believe Andy has gone to about 4 international tours within the last 7 or 8 years, a few of them in Tobago, and then moving towards Barbados.
Oh, those are excellent destinations.
Bahamas or Barbados? I'm not quite sure.
I'll take either one.
Yeah. Either.
Either.
Absolutely.
I'm going.
Great weather.
Great kick
Great kick.
They put them in an excellent position just outside the 5.
Let's see what happens here. Last play, they had their line out. The ball really did a really good while traveling to the other side of the field in just a few passes. So let's see what they do here. They seem to be
Huddled up there.
huddled up to have a game plan. A lot of smiles on the sidelines there with the Quebec team.
Well, they have a lot to smile about. The score is 45-0 at the moment, and we are deep into the second half with about 23 minutes or so to go. Very dominant performance so far in the game.
With this time now, we're probably going to look into Saracens having some impact players entering the game as well. There you go.
That was probably the most complicated lineup we have seen at this tournament. That was that was fun to watch. But it was effective. They're just a couple meters out from their try line.
Noticing here when Quebec's in their 22, their releasing the ball from the ruck has been a little bit slower, almost like they're planning their game plan and they have a specific item that they want to achieve.
Good pressure from Toronto Saracens, holding up the ball. Now they got to get reset.
Her knee is down, so that's a tackle.
And she gets in on the side of that breakdown. Excellent work by Rugby de Québec. We are now at 50-0. We'll wait for the conversion to see if it is good. This is a slightly different game from the first game that we watched earlier today, but still a great game to watch because it's the performance that Rugby de Québec is putting on the field definitely speaks to some of the styles of play that many coaches and many clubs are looking to play.
So we have Michelle Yu coming in for the Toronto Saracens. Her experience has been with the Ontario Junior program as well as the Storm program and the Turf Sevens. An interesting fact, she is currently playing with her coach, her past coach, Fidelia.
And for Club Rugby de Québec, Lori Houle has come off the field, Fabiola has come off the field, and number 16 is running on the field now, Ariane Beaulieu. She is getting her first minutes on the field for her club.
I believe subbing off for Michelle was Zoriana Workrun. They're number 5.
And Maude La Liberté has come off for Rugby de Québec. Nice contestable kick. And I'm not sure what the ref is called. Either way, it's going to be a scrum at half.
Oh, this is an exciting place to have a scrum. Tell me about this as a forward, having a scrum in the center of the field like this.
Well, depending on your strengths, definitely with the back row that I've worked with, like Barbara Mervin, definite possibilities for some back row plays and setting up for your centers. And I mean, at my club, definitely we have a dominant forward pack. So if we can get that scrum moving forward, it opens up our options as well. So being in the middle of the field just gives you options left and right. Good scrum there to set up blind pass from Rugby de Québec, but they still get the ball into the hands of a fast winger, number 11, Anne Gibert. Number 19, Annabelle Perron takes the ball, and they move it out to number 10. The ball's not going to the hand, but it is going backwards, so they still have possession. Good pressure from Toronto Saracens. Anticipated, starting to get familiar with the game plan. But they found a hole, great run, good speed, and an easy try on the far left-hand side.
Strategically, we have Natalie Tam there making sure that that try was not scored between the posts to help keep the score down.
Yes, I mean, that will be helpful. I mean, 52, was it? We're now at 55-0. For Toronto Saracens, like we said, they have another game regardless of this game here. It's not looking like they will probably be able to come back from this sort of score, but they still have to prepare and figure out, what part of learning as a team is figuring out how can we play better, even in the last minutes of the game.
As a coach, Andy's probably saying, obviously excited about this opportunity, but also happy for this opportunity because these women would have a bye this week and the previous week because of their possession of being first in their pool. So it would be a significant amount of time to have off before they enter their semifinal game.
And that's an excellent point, Tamara. They're going to go into those playoff games, and they're just going to be in probably the best situation possible, having played this competitive game. And again, we speak to the importance of tournaments like this, allowing a team that has virtually gone almost undefeated all season to now come into a game where the score is 57 or 55-0.
Just recently, we saw a quick glimpse of Sandro Fiorino. Not a surprise that he's here, probably getting a glimpse of some of the talent here, but also probably supporting the excitement of having such a rugby tournament now in existence, thanks to all of our sponsorships.
Yes, Sandro's here. He's always looking for the next best thing. So this is an excellent opportunity. This is also another great reason why this tournament is so important. We said it was essential to the pathway. Definitely it's for those girls who are looking and aspire to play at a representative level, either provincially or nationally. We'll hopefully get a chance to talk to Sandro on Sunday. I'll be commentating with Maureen McMahon, legend in the back row for Canada. And so we'll bring Sandro in and have a little quick talk with him on Sunday, and he can talk about what's in store for the women's national team.
Maureen has some significant amount of experience for sure. Her resume is amazing. But I know that she also played with you when you played with the Toronto Scottish. Once again, one of the only women's team to have 4 championships in a row. How was it playing with Maureen?
Maureen is she's a very humble player, but what you hear a lot from Maureen is that she was excellent at guiding players through the game, especially at the time when I was a back row player. She taught me the key essentials to being a good back row player, running lines, how to cheat, those sort of things that sometimes you don't just learn on your own. So
playing smart, I would like to say.
Playing smart. Playing smart. Cheating is probably not the word. But we'll go back to the field. Sorry, we digress. Toronto Saracens are in the 22 of Rugby de Québec. Strategic kick to the right side of the field. Came up with some pressure, and that's where they will have the ball. Or Rugby de Québec's ball. And we have a sub coming in for the Toronto Saracens.
Yeah, we have Janelle Mars coming in.
We are now about 15 minutes left in the game. Toronto Saracens are in a great position right now. The line out, but they are defensively, and they're looking to contest. It looks like they're looking to contest, but Rugby de Québec gets that ball off too quickly, and they drive it into the field. Again, we talked about the maul, and Rugby de Québec is doing a great job of using the maul effectively. They have Toronto Saracens moving back. They're now outside the 22, and they're moving the ball.
Interesting way to run there with Quebec. They did have a lot of space out here on the right.
And Toronto Saracens getting ready to come up. Good pressure. I think with the defensive line for Toronto Saracens, we just need to look at the whole team coming up together. There's a few legs there, and that Rugby de Québec will capitalize on. So they're moving the ball.
Yeah, you have a few players that are coming up a little bit uneven with their teammates, and it's creating some gaps there for Quebec to.
Excellent tackle. I think that was number 15 for Toronto Saracens, Irene Petrinos, and we've heard her name before. She's been involved with representative rugby.
Big tackle there for number 23, Haley Karoom, but she seems to be down, slowly getting up.
I've been talking a lot about the strength of the Toronto Saracens pack, but this is not to disregard the strength of the Rugby de Québec forwards. They're doing a great job right now, punching the ball forward, maintaining possession, and setting up the game plan that has been so effective.
It'd be interesting to know how many phases they've been involved in to get to this position here.
Yes, but there's been a turnover, and sometimes you just wait for that moment, and Toronto Saracens have an opportunity right here. Shifty feet. They're looking for that angle ball. Now they're looking to move the ball a little bit quicker into the hands of a hard running forward. It was a bit of a slow to medium ball, so I don't think they were set up properly, but they've been able to maintain possession, and now they're getting it out again.
Should be some interesting play here with the ball wide.
And there's some great footwork by number 22 from the Saracens. Number 22, Haley Karoom.
Yeah, that was number 23. Haley Karoom had a very good run just a moment ago. Brought their Saracens to this possession here.
Toronto Saracens have come alive. They're playing the type of style of rugby that they play so well, and they've been playing all season, which is why they've been an undefeated team in the league. And we have the forwards driving it up on the sides of the rucks, making those small yards. And
interesting chip kick here.
Little chip kick, yep. Oh! And he's going to call the knock on. She almost had it.
She almost had it. Good idea.
Good idea. Good idea. And if you're going to do a chip kick, that's what you got to do. You got to chase it down and get your hands on it. And we also, I mean, the only way to get better is to try different things and make mistakes. And players have to be given the sort of, ability to do that, especially at these tournaments.
Absolutely.
Be creative rugby players. Free thinking. This is Rugby de Québec's scrum. It's good pressure off the mark from Toronto Saracens.
There's another chip kick there.
Good job 15, getting the ball off the bounce.
Irene Petrinos with that ball right now, taking that ball upfield, looking to connect with Petra Woods. Petra Woods has some great speed here. Let's see what she brings. Taken down in the corner.
Petra maintains possession and then gets a great offload to one of her teammates. Toronto Saracens is fighting to keep the ball alive. Rugby de Québec probably didn't stay on their feet. Diving in. And it's looking like Toronto Saracens are gonna.
They're gonna take that kick.
But I think they're gonna take it. They realize they might as well go for it.
There's the space.
There we go.
There's the space. The space was there. Haley just unlucky with the drop ball.
The ideas are there, and then eventually the execution will come. And it's good that they're doing this at a game of this level. This is still exciting to watch. Toronto Saracens are still working hard. They are not a pushover team. They're going to fight to the end. And they've definitely, in these last few minutes, are doing some exciting, or playing some exciting rugby.
Irene Petrinos was kicking that ball to Sarah Canini. But unfortunately, Quebec was the one who caught that ball there. Quebec currently in possession. We're getting into a kicking game right now.
Good hands. And we're kicking again.
Oh, that would have been a nice run with Petra Woods as she was able to stay in.
Nice hustle by Petra. These teams, the sun is starting to come down. It's getting darker here on the field. There's about under 10 minutes left in the game. But this last few minutes of rugby has definitely not reflected that. These teams are still fighting hard. And this will definitely put them in a good position for the finals on Sunday. Rugby de Quebec is walking into their line out. They've had some creative lineouts this game. Nice try by Toronto Saracens to get in the way of that pass.
That was Janelle Mars who came out to
great running line by number 8, Andréan Valois. But it's picked up.
Ball picked up by Haley Karoum.
Haley Karoum is having a good game today. Ball goes back. It's still alive.
Yeah, it looks like she kept that in. Quebec changing their mind in the direction they want to go into.
And that's good pressure for Toronto Saracens, making them double check what they were doing.
Ball kicked out, possession Quebec. There's been some jersey switches with the Toronto Saracens, so excuse us if we have some names mixed up here, but we're just currently working with what we have.
So on Sunday, there will be 2 games played at Fletchers Field in the last 2 games of the tournament. 12 o'clock will be the bronze medal game, and 2 p.m. will be the gold medal final, where the crowning top club, the top club will be crowned for Canada. And so those will be 2 very exciting matches. So if you are around on this long weekend, please come out and watch. Rugby de Quebec is moving the ball forward.
They're doing a really good job with their ghost runners. Everyone has a different name for it, but you have a player that's running towards the ball. They may get it, they may not get it, but then the ball goes out to another player.
Nice offload by Saracens. Yep, you called it ghost runner. Some people call it shadow. It's basically that sort of decoy runner that sort of makes the opposition think twice. They don't know if it's going to them or somebody else.
Absolutely. Fidelia running with the ball here.
They are putting a lot of people in the ruck. They have about 5 people in there now, but securing that ball.
Yeah, it's making it difficult to get the ball wide there because there's less players in the position to do so.
And Quebec has quite a few out there.
On defense, correct.
And they're going to take it quick, as we are to expect. Transitioning, moving the ball wide. Great wide pass. The miss out.
It's going to be a 2-on-1 here.
And they just missed hands.
There we go. That would have been an interesting play. There was a 2-on-1 currently against Haley Karoum.
And we looks to be a scrum. We'll find out in a moment. Or line out. It's a line out.
You have Quebec here with 2 players back. 4 players up here for the defensive mode. Saracens seem to have possession now with the penalty. They're taking a quick tap.
They move the ball out to a runner on an angle. But there's a turnover. Rugby de Quebec has the ball, and they're already transitioning for attack. And there's been another turnover. Oh, big pressure on Petra Wood. She didn't have much of an option there.
Unlucky slip there.
She's taking it in, and they've turned over the ball. They've picked up that ball. And they're moving it quickly to the outside. One more pass, and they've scored the try.
2-1 in that position led to a try scored.
Great unselfish ball passing on the outside, getting it out to where the space was. Score is 60-0 for Rugby de Quebec. I think heading into this game, both of us thought it would be probably a closer game between these two teams. And, you know, Toronto Saracens will have time tonight when they, you know, come together as a team and just sort of look at what happened in this game. They'll probably have game footage as well, hopefully, to look at. But again, we just need to talk about what the benefit of playing these types of games for them will be in terms of playing such a competitive game. They're going to learn. They're going to learn, although they'll be a little bit tired and sore tonight.
Absolutely. They'll be playing Charlotte, and they seem to have similar game plans here. So it'd be interesting to see if either team changes their gameplay and brings something different to the pitch on Sunday.
Yeah, all sorts of surprises at this tournament. You can't assume anything.
Toronto Saracens, when you have a team that's been in the finals consecutively for the last 5 or 6 years, anything's possible on Sunday. We'll see what Andy has up his sleeves for his team on Sunday.
That sounds mischievous. And we're down to the last couple minutes of the game. Again, the score is 60-0. The crowd is still engaged because there has been some really exciting play on the field. Great ball movement, speed, excellent running angles. Great take.
Noticing a lot of these takes, a lot of the players are taking it in themselves and not looking for that quick pass. What's your opinion on that?
Generally, if you get a clean catch like that, especially on that side of the field, I would be looking to offload to a player. That's what I'm comfortable doing. Don't get me wrong, everyone loves to run with the ball, but giving that ball when you're running at pace to somebody else running at either equal or more pace is quite effective. So that's something you'd be looking for. But if your teammate's not ready, you gotta take the ball in yourself. Good line out. She takes it in. We're going to look for a quick ball out. Good tip ball. You can see the pace of the ball. Oh, great angle in against the grain. Good hands. And again, we see sort of that fractured defense where we find holes in the defense that we can crack through.
Looks like that's going to be a call there on the Saracens, possibly a high tackle. Looks like it's a warning and not a yellow card that's going to be issued.
There might be some high. Looks like he was pointing to his neck, so
Yeah.
high tackle. Okay, this is the position that Rugby de Quebec likes to be in. They are
Rugby Canada released some new information about the high tackle, so a lot of refs have been trained to look for certain items and keep the game safe.
definitely we want to in the last 10 years or so we've definitely had some serious injuries. I've witnessed some serious injuries with some of my teammates, and I think concussions and high tackles and that go with it are not something to joke about or take lightly. And we're not just seeing it in our sport, we're seeing it in other sports as well. So I think most of us support the idea that there needs to be a focus on the high tackle. Not contesting, but they get the ball back. And quick ball to the number 10. And she might be rolled in, but she's still outside of the try line. And the ball's been turned over.
Was going to be a kick, but not enough space.
So this is it's looking like a scrum here. Most attacking teams love to scrummage here. And it looks like it is Rugby de Quebec's ball. I think. Oh, no, it is Toronto Saracens' ball.
Saracens' ball, they have their kicker lined up behind the scrum, so it looks like they're going to kick this ball.
But great scrum there, pushing them back from Rugby de Quebec. That made it very difficult. We haven't really seen that strength in the scrum from Rugby de Quebec this game, but they brought it out at the right time.
Absolutely.
We're somewhere in the dying minutes of the game. A minute, less than a minute. That might be one of the last plays. But what a way to finish with a try. But we'll see if Rugby de Quebec can pull that out. Controlled scrum again. Moving them back. They might just get this try in. But Toronto Saracens pushes them back. Great aggressive defense by the try line. But she finds a hole. They're not in yet. Fighting in the breakdown there. It's hard to tell from here what's going on there, but this is a lot of hustle.
Seems like there's a fight for the ball over there. Right under the posts.
They're fighting hard to get their last try in. Toronto Saracens are making it hard, but they pull it off, I think.
It looks like that ball was grabbed by Tamisha Toussaint.
And
no try scored.
No try was scored. Well, that's the end of the second game of today and the second game of the tournament. Score 62-0. Rugby de Quebec wins the game. A dominant performance by the team from Quebec. Sandro Fiorina is waving goodbye to us. We'll see him on Sunday, and he can talk about what's happening in the senior women's rugby team. I'm sure he has been impressed with some of the performances of today's players. So we look forward to seeing. Thank you for coming. We look forward to seeing and you joining us on Sunday for games at 12 o'clock for the bronze medal game and 2 o'clock for the gold medal game to finish off this tournament and crown the top club in the nation.
Once again, it's an exciting time for women's rugby. It is her story, history being made here with the first national tournament here with the prospective clubs. Looking forward to Sunday, where we'll have some amazing games in the afternoon.
Thank you, Tamara Dixon, and I'll see you. No, you will have a great time on Sunday with your family.
All right, take care.
Signing out.
All right, bye-bye.